Welcome. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Particularly at a time I know there was some hesitancy for people to want to come out tonight. Some people were excited to be out tonight, but we really appreciate that you did take the time to be here in person as we continue on this difficult pandemic journey and still aren't gathering very much. But sometimes there's occasions when we think that it's really important to come out and be together and at least, even in a small way, be able to share some community. And that's what Pacifica's environmental family thought about tonight and having this small get-together. I'm Cindy Abbott, and I have the privilege of being the current president of Pacifica's environmental family. You may have checked in with another board member, Roy Ernst, earlier tonight. Might have seen you at the door. We've got Jim Kremer over here. And Margaret Goodale wasn't able to be here with us tonight, but we all really appreciate you being here. And we're also really pleased to have Mayor Mary Beer here and Councilperson Sue Beckmeyer. So appreciate their being here too.
Thank you for coming.
At this time, I'd like to recognize those who were here long before us, though. So I'm going to be reading a land acknowledgement. As we gather here today, we acknowledge that we occupy the unceded ancestral homeland of the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples, who are the original inhabitants of the San Francisco Peninsula and Pacifica. We recognize that the Ramaytush Ohlone understand the interconnectedness of all things and have maintained harmony with nature for millennia. We recognize that we benefit from living and working on their traditional homeland. We honor the Ramaytush Ohlone peoples for their enduring commitment to Wari, Mother Earth. As the indigenous protectors of this land, in accordance with their traditions, the Ramaytush Ohlone have never ceded, lost, nor forgotten their responsibilities as the caretakers of this place, as well as for all peoples who reside in their traditional territory. As uninvited guests, we affirm their sovereign rights as First Peoples and wish to pay our respect to the ancestors, elders, and relatives of the Ramaytush community. As environmentalists, we recognize that we must embrace indigenous knowledge as how we care for Pacifica and all of its people. We honor the Ramaytush Ohlone for their enduring commitment to steward Mother Earth. We recognize that the Ramaytush Ohlone have lived in harmony with nature for millennia, and that to achieve a truly ecologically sustainable future for Pacifica, we must embrace indigenous traditional ecological knowledge in how we care for the city's lands, waters, and people. For a land acknowledgement to be more than just words spoken at a meeting and to truly honor the Ramaytush Ohlone people, we need to take respectful actions that further their stewardship. And tonight we'll be learning about development projects that would have decimated the hillsides, disturbed wildlife areas, placed homes in hazardous places, impacted historic sites, and that would have diminished the character and uniqueness of the city of Pacifica. And you'll hear from Pacificans who over decades dedicated their passion, time, and in many instances funding, because it takes that too, to preserve Pacifica's open space for future generations. And I'm very happy that we have with us here tonight Julie Lancel, Peter Loeb, Ken Miles, and Mike Vasey, a few of the open space heroes in our community that you're going to see from several years back. We won't put them on the spot, but if they are moved to speak at the end of the presentations, we're going to welcome their thoughts on where we are today from where they were in this program. You may have heard the saying that history repeats itself, or the phrase that those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. But in this case, we wanted to share the history of open space victories with the hope of inspiring and energizing everyone we know to see what is possible and to keep repeating those successes over and over and over again. This work is hard, and it takes time, but the good news is that over the decades, Pacifica has made significant forward steps to preserve our magnificent hillsides and open spaces. And right now, at a time when significant development projects are being proposed in Pacifica, we hope that you'll be inspired by this history to continue the legacy of being protectors of open space. And speaking of history, I'd like to share our deep appreciation to the Pacifica Historical Society, who had the forward vision of documenting the history of Pacifica through the award-winning series Footprints of Pacifica. Tonight we're going to be watching 2 episodes devoted to open space. And in between those 2 episodes, we'll have a special presentation with stories pulled from the headlines of the Pacifica Tribune that was researched by PHS board member Pat Kremer, also in the back, and documented in a digital presentation by PEF board member Jim Kramer. So we're going to move to the video right now, and we'll be back in a minute. We're going to have 3 short programs that we'll be watching together. No popcorn, I'm sorry. And we'll have a little break too after the second presentation so that you can stretch too. So what we're going to watch now is Footprints of Pacifica, episode 26 on open space. Enjoy.